Our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
In earth.
In earth.
As it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us of our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
For he is good.
For he is good.
And his mercy endures forever.
And his mercy endures forever.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
For he is good.
For he is good.
And his mercy endures forever.
And his mercy endures forever.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
The Holy One of Israel.
The Holy One of Israel.
The Mighty One of Jacob.
The Mighty One of Jacob.
King of kings.
King of kings.
And Lord of lords.
Lord of lords.
Amen.
Amen.
Today's scripture reading comes from Psalms chapter 35, 9 through 14. And my soul shall be joyful in the Lord. It shall rejoice in his salvation. All my bones shall say, Lord, who is like unto thee, which delivereth the poor from him that is too strong from him? Yea, the poor and the needy from him that spoileth him. False witnesses did rise up. They laid to my charge things that I knew not. They rewarded me evil for good to the spoiling of my soul. But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer returned unto my own bosom. I behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother. I bowed down heavily as one that mourneth for his mother. Again, I just read Psalms chapter 35, 9 through 14. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading, hearing, and doing of his word. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. No singing? No? Okay. Yeah, so I like that opening scripture. Praise the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace be unto you in the name of Jesus. Peace to everyone that's watching on Facebook Live, and peace to everyone that's watching on YouTube. It's a blessing to stand before you today on the Lord's Sabbath day. Peace and blessings to all the new listeners, and new faces, and welcome to Israel, the Church of Jesus, where we create Bible lessons, teach Bible lessons, line upon line, here a little, there a little, precept upon precept to get understanding of one another. I apologize, I'm running a little bit late, man. It's been a crazy few days. But today, the lesson that the Lord put upon my heart, it shouldn't be a long lesson. Only 20 plus scriptures. But it has to do with the patience of the saints. And the Bible is going to tell you what patience is regarding the saints. And to sum it all up, what it is pretty much what it is the fact that we waiting for the Lord to return. But as we waiting, we are also constructing ourselves in the best manner that we can. We're keeping all our garments white. And that's a big deal in my trying to have the patience of the saints. And how we're going to read it. We're going to get the definition and we're going to clear everything up, you know. But I really feel like we as a society, we as a congregation, we as a people, we forget that, you know, to maintain this patience even in times of tribulations, even when we're going through some things, even if we have a hard time on a job, because like what the Bible says, patience will need to work its perfect work, meaning that eventually we have to get this thing right. And if we don't get this thing right, then we have been doing all this stuff for naught. And then what's going to happen at the end of the time is, if we don't make it to the Great Tribulation, if we don't make it to the wilderness, the patience that we're supposed to be practicing on, the patience that we're supposed to be working with, eventually we won't be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, because it's just going to be too much. If we can't take off on the Sabbath now, before Great Tribulation is hit, there's no way in heck we're going to be able to do it when the time is at hand. we want to have that practice. We didn't work on that patience. We didn't work on the things that we need to humble ourselves, to go through the tribulation, and hey, whatever's going to be, we need to make up our mind to that point so we can make that decision if we don't make it to the great tribulation, if we don't work on that now. So that's what all of this is about. The patience of the saints is about enduring the tribulation. But you know what? There's enough talking. It probably don't make sense right now. We're going to start off in Revelation 14 and 12. And we're going to have this cleared up right here. Revelation 14 and pick up at verse 12. Go ahead.
Here is the patience of the saints.
All right, so this is the definition right here. So this is what the whole lesson is about right here. What we are about to read, it will help clear up everything else in this lesson, or it should. It said, here is the patience of the saints. So what is that? Go ahead.
Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus.
It said, here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. You need both of them, right? You need both of these things. You can't have one or the other. If you have the faith of Jesus Christ, but you don't keep the commandments, you don't have it. And if you, in a contrary, if you keep all the commandments, but you don't believe in Jesus, you won't make it. You won't make it at all. And this is the patience of the saints. This is another word for the patience is the steadfastness. This is the continuing of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus Christ. Period. Next verse.
And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them.
And that's no coincidence how this verse is coming right after, here is the patience of the saints. It says, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord henceforth. So it says, here are the patience of the saints, they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. And then it says, blessed are they that die in the name of Jesus. So you have to keep this faith. You have to keep this patience. You have to keep this steadfastness all the way until you facing death, looking at it straight in the face. Steadfasted. You have to continue doing what thus said the Lord. And I don't think we have that. I don't think we all understand that. Like I said before, it's a hard time for us to call off sick or, hey man, it is what it is, I'm going for the Sabbath day. And this is now, we're not going through nearly as much of stuff as we will be going through during Great Tribulation. And we have to start working on this now. Another word for the patience is the steadfastness or the continuing. It's kind of like any other sport, kind of like any other thing that you do in life. Practice makes perfect. So if you have to, but more specifically, perfect practice makes perfect. So if you're not doing the things like you're supposed to on a daily basis, when it comes down for your feet to hit the ground running, you won't know how you're doing it. You won't know how to do it. That's why it says, here are the patience of the saints, here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. And read verse 13 again.
And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Right, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth.
So we will have to die in the name of the Lord. Some of us might have to do that. Do we know that? Do we know that some of us really might have to give our life for the name of the Lord? That's some real stuff. People don't teach you this at all. They tell you you don't go to heaven. You ain't got to worry about it. Everything is all glory, and you can do all things through Jesus Christ. Now give me $100. That's their motives the whole time. They don't talk about this. That you might have to die in the name of Jesus. Yes, said the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. So even once you die, your works still follow you. Kind of like with Abel. How Cain killed Abel, he said, I still hear the blood of I still hear Abel's blood crying from the ground. His works were still working after he wasn't there. And he died for the name of the Lord. Let's go to Revelation 13. Let's go back one. Revelation 13. Revelation 13. And we're going to read it again, but we're going to see it in a different light. So hopefully it will be a little bit more clear for you. Revelation 13, and just pick it up at verse 1. 13:1, go ahead.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
So this right here is the Gentile dynasty, the Babylonian Empire. This is everything all together. Keep going.
And upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power.
So we see all the members of the Gentile dynasty that we read in Daniel is all coming together, and the beast is given its power. So the beast is behind all of this. Go ahead, keep going.
And his seat in great authority. Verse 3.
Keep going.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
So the whole world wondered after the beast, kind of like how the whole world wonder after the beast now. We might not understand it, or we probably don't really see it, but Halloween is coming up. Nobody worrying about the memorial blowing the trumpets. Then right after that is what? Thanksgiving and Christmas. Nobody worrying about the tabernacle. So already the world has already been conditioned to wonder after the beast. And we already the outsiders. So when it comes down to it, it's gonna be easy for us, it'll be easy for them to point us out if we have the patience of the saints, if we actually exercising all of this. And if we're not exercising all this, once you're in there, there's no guarantee what decision you're going to make, because you're not preparing yourself to making that decision now. What verse you at?
Verse 4.
Verse 4. Go ahead, read it.
And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
All right, now skip down to verse 7. Go ahead.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
So this beast, this dragon, the Satan himself, it was given to him to make war with the saints. Understand that. Like Satan has the opportunity to declare war on us. How are we going to handle that? We can't. This is Satan himself. Keep going.
And to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
And he has all the nations at his will. And the whole being of him is to come and get us. Keep going.
And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb.
Keep going.
Slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Let him hear. Any man who have an ear, let him hear. Keep going.
Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Any man who have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And what else?
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
And he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Keep going.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. He's pretty much letting you know, hey, you guys will be going through this stuff. And nevertheless, the Lord will come back and handle all of this stuff. But until then, you just got to sit down and just bear with it. You just going to have to sit down and bear with it. Because it was given to him to make war with us. The Lord is giving him, the Lord is testing us. Let's go to Romans 5. No, let's go to James 1 now. Let's go to James 1. So we kind of see where this lesson is going already with the patience of the saints. It has nothing to do with, well, it does in a sense have to do with your patience as far as people getting on your nerves and all other stuff. But it's more specifically with you enduring until the end. Because it's a perfect time to do this lesson, because all of us is vexed right now because all the Halloween and Christmas and stuff is just going to get worse. All of us is vexed right now about what's going on at work. All of us is vexed right now what's going on at home. Yes. It's a problem. But nevertheless, it's going to continue to get worse. And it's not going to stop. So if for whatever reason you're bending now, when it comes down to it, you might break. Because you're not practicing and exercising that muscle to stay strong. Because the Lord said this is going to be worse. This time is going to be worse than any other time ever. And we can read some horrible times in the Bible. We have horrible times in our history by ourselves. I mean, they was feeding our babies to alligators.
Right.
And that won't have nothing compared to what's coming to us. That's something we have to get in our mind. Go to James 1 and pick it up at verse 2. James 1 and verse 2. Go ahead.
My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations.
Do we do that? I know I don't.
No, I don't.
I need to learn to. He said, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. You should be happy because you have a chance to prove yourself. It's kind of like when you on a bench and the coach is like, hey man, get up in there, man. Oh boy, hurt. Everybody, he excited. He's like, okay, I got this now. I'm gonna make this pass. I mean, he might be a little nervous, but he come to play. He want that starting position. We get some trouble. We get some tribulation. It's like, oh man, look, man, this is what this dude did now, man. I can't believe this girl did this. Rather than praying and fasting and using it as, okay, well, how can I overcome this? How can I get better at this? Oh man, hey Rashad, I need you to work on the Sabbath. I'm not gonna work there. Hey man, if you don't work, I'm gonna fire you. Hey, well,
I'm with it.
it is what it is. I might as well get used to it now.
Right. That's true.
Because during the Great Tribulation, you're not working at all without the mark. And if you get that mark, you're done. It says, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, whatever it is. Keep going.
Verse 3, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience.
See, the trying of your faith worketh patience, the patience of the saints. We already know what the patience of the saints is, right? Those who keep the commandments and have the faith of Jesus Christ. That's the definition of it. We read that in Revelation. So the falling in diverse temptations trieth your patience. It's getting you ready for what's coming. We don't see that far. It's kind of like when I give my son or my daughter a whooping. I'm trying to give him a whooping so the cops don't give him a whooping.
Right. Right.
So the Lord over here discipline us so he don't have to throw us in that lake of fire. But we don't see it. Look, man, I know you have a problem with women, so I'm going to throw these women all in your face all the time. Hopefully, you get it together. And if you don't, I'm going to throw you in like a fire. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience, but what?
But let patience have her perfect work.
But let patience have her perfect work. You got to get perfect at this. It might take some time, but it's all for you to get perfect at it. But let patience have a perfect work, that what?
That ye may be perfect and entire.
So you can be perfect. So let patience have its perfect work so you can be perfect. So you won't have any doubts. So there won't be no reproach out of you. But let patience have a perfect work that you may be perfect, entire, wanting nothing. Now let's go to Romans 5. Now let's go to Romans 5. I really think we play around with this. I mean, we might be in the truth and everything, or we might think we in the truth, but we playing around with this because, you know, like the Lord says, judgment and punishment don't fall extremely quick on us. It's not executed speedily on us. So we play around with it. We think it's cool. So we just sit here and we play around with all this. What's up, Drew? Romans 5 and 1. Romans 5 and verse 1. Go ahead.
Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ.
So therefore, being justified by faith, because we justified by faith, not by works. But show me your faith without your works. I bet you can't do that. But nevertheless, we are justified by faith because all men have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with God the Father through our Lord Jesus Christ. So now the Father don't have beef with us. Because you believe in my Son, okay, I'm going to give you a shot. So we cool now. Verse 2.
By whom also we have access by faith into this grace.
And we also have access to the Father and to this grace through Jesus Christ. The same individual. Because of Jesus Christ, The Father don't have beef with us, and through Jesus Christ, we have access to faith. Keep going.
Wherein we stand.
Wherein we what?
We stand.
We don't move. We stand in there. Wherefore we stand in what?
And rejoice in hope of the glory of God.
And we rejoice in hope of the glory of God. We rejoicing in that hope. It says, by whom we also have access by the Father to the grace wherein we stand and rejoice in hope of the glory of God. Verse 3.
And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also.
And once we see it again. Not only so, but we also glory in tribulations also. Knowing that what?
Knowing that tribulations worketh patience.
So we continue hearing it over and over and over and over again. That going through tribulations worketh patience. And this is the patience of the saints. This is what we need to get used to. But yet we still trying to ball out. Well, something going to give. You can't serve God and mammon. Something got to give. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulations worketh patience. Keep going.
In patience experience.
You see that? In patience experience. So you up in the ring, you know, getting your little 1-2s on. The more you in the ring, the more you fighting, the better you get. The more experience you get. Oh, now I know once you hit that angle, I'm going to hit this angle. Last time I dropped my hand, I ain't going to do that. I got knocked. I'm going to keep my hand up. You're getting that experience. So now when you boxing with Satan, you know what you're doing. You know how to control yourself. Oh, I know your moves. Oh, I read that. I seen that. And patience, experience, that's what you're getting on. So you glorify in tribulations because tribulations worketh your patience, and your patience you have experience. So you shouldn't be continue making the same mistakes. That's what we shouldn't be doing. If you're making the same mistakes, you're not growing in the name of the Lord. You're not growing in the faith. And if you sin intentionally, there's no more sacrifice for sins. So you gotta pay for that. However it is, you're gonna pay. Pick it up at verse 3 again.
And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience.
And what?
And patience experience. And experience hope.
And experience, we get that hope. That hope of what? That hope of making it to the kingdom. Once we got that experience. You can't get there without knowing anything. Even now, you can't get hired on a job without some type of experience. Try to go somewhere without some experience. They at least gonna try to train you on a job. They ain't gonna just throw you out there. But we think the Lord is different? No, He's trying to give you some experience. So now when you're in that great tribulation and you're hungry, hey man, I've been here before. I'm gonna have to get it a different way. Hey, so what? I'm digging in the trash can. I did it before. Somebody else, hey bro, I got something for you. Oh man, thank you. You humble by that. You, man, for sure. You're not prideful on that because you know that you might not get another meal for I don't know how long. But if you walking around, want everything and try to have it all, and trying to ball, and trying to live life, you won't know how to handle that at all. That's like Kim Kardashian dropping broke right now. She would commit suicide in a second. All of them would. Every single one of them because they don't know how to handle that. We have experience though. In going through tough times in this age. So we have to continue to hold on to that experience if we don't make it to the great tribulation, if we don't make it to the wilderness. Because the majority of us not going to make it. Look, we are surrounded by water. A lot of us can't swim. A lot of us don't have passports. How are we going to get there? You're going to walk? We live in Vegas. Soon you hit a little cold weather, you're going to be in the house. You don't know what you're doing. It's cold, bro. Hey, man, we here. So we better get used to, hey, either you start planning to make it to the wilderness somehow, some way, or you better start working on your patience. You better start getting stronger. Pick it up verse 1 again, man, because I'm lost. Go ahead.
Verse 1.
Yeah.
Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ, by whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand, and rejoice in hope of the glory of God. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope.
And experience hope. If you hoping for it, you don't have it. So far about being saved already. Let's go to 1 Peter 5 now. Oh, my bad. Yeah, thank you. Galatians 6. Galatians 6. And this don't seem like it's going to be a slow lesson. But sometimes all that talking ain't needful. You know, sometimes you guys just need to just get it how it is. Hey man, this is what it is. Galatians 6 and 4. Galatians 6. Now pick it up at verse 1. 6:1, go ahead.
Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness.
Which is a big deal, you know, because we all we got. So if one of us messed up, we can't have somebody else beating up on us. That's not going to work. Because if we already feel like outsiders to the world, to our whole family, and we all become family to one another, and we start beating each other up, we have to look to no one. Brethren, if any man be overtaken in a fault, which ye are spiritual, restore such a one in spirit of meekness. Keep going.
Considering thyself.
Consider what?
Thyself.
They don't think about that, huh? Oh, brother, you ain't supposed to be sleeping around, but you over here doing something else, so you about to get tripped up too, and you're not even knowing. And Satan, the Lord allows Satan to, hey, get him next. We read Job. We read Job. The Lord would allow that to happen, so don't think the Lord won't allow that to happen. The Lord will allow Satan to try you. So don't be sitting here trying to beat up somebody else, and you got to consider yourself. That's what you need to focus on. Considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Verse 2.
Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ.
Meaning in a sense, hey, you grieve, I grieve. Hey man, you hungry, I got some money for you, I'll help you out. We all look out for each other. That's what I mean by bearing somebody else's burdens. It don't mean taking your cross. I can't help you get saved. That's all you. But if you're struggling, I can help you out a little bit, and vice versa. Verse 3, go ahead.
For if a man think himself to be something, when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself.
That's where it starts from. You walking around thinking you got it made, and you know everything. Well, that's a problem. I can see it all the time with the pocket. A lot of people do that stuff with the pocket for all the time. Especially the people that I know of. They think they know everything. They got it all. Hey, you can't tell me nothing. I know everything in this Bible. Now I'm going to go in that Bible. Now I'm going to go over here and read this. And then they fall off. Hey, bro. Oh, well, yeah, this happened and this happened. Okay, maybe so. But is that reading here? So there's a contradiction somewhere. Well, bro. Hey, man, I'm just letting you know what it is. So don't think you more than what you are, because we are the same thing. The most wisest man in the world got tripped up over females. Our king, who made it, got tripped up over a female, somebody else's wife at that. Verse 4.
But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another.
So what does that mean? Every man should prove his own work. Hey, you got to carry your own cross. You got to carry your own cross. Hey, I'm here to help out. I'm here to help you out, no doubt. You're here to help me out, no doubt. But you have your own walk. You have to. I can't help you be saved. Every man have to save himself. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. Keep going.
For every man shall bear his own burden.
Keep going.
Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth in all good things.
Keep that good communication going. Keep going.
Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
So don't get it twisted. You in a bad situation because you sow that. You in the situation for a reason. Don't think like you sinless. No, you in that situation because you messed up somehow. You made a bad decision. Whatever you sow, that's what you reap. Bear your own burden, man. Take that. It's all right. Stand up. It is what it is. You can lean on my shoulder if you need to, but not too long. Somebody else needs that shoulder. That's how we got to do it, right? It says, so the Lord is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap. Keep going.
For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting.
So I like this because I kind of take it a liking to doing the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Every year, hey man, I messed up again. Hey man, I messed up again. Hey man, I ate some bread again. Well then you're not sowing in a word in. You're sowing in the flesh. You're supposed to be in this Bible every day. That was supposed to help you out. That's in the sense of what he's talking about. That if you sow in the flesh, whatever it is, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're reaping for. If you sow in the spirit, that's what you're reaping for. Keep going.
Verse 9. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not.
And then he brought it all the way back. All the way up to a future sense where, hey, don't be weary in well-doing either. Because if you reaping how you're supposed to do, you will get the reward. But we have to be patient. We have to wait on the Lord. There's nothing we can do about that. We just got to wait on him. That's part of the patience. But the patience of the saints is you doing that, keeping yourself spotless. Keeping yourself spotless. And if you do mess up, don't do it again. You mess up, okay, don't do it again. The Bible says a just man falls 7 times, right? 7 times. 7 times. The just man falls 7 times. It said the same thing in Job. Like what? A man never sinned? No, a man sinned. It happened. A just man sins. So that let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Now let's go ahead. What's this? Peter. Now let's go to 1 Peter. Like I said, I think this is the perfect time to go through something like this, because I know a lot of us is getting vexed as it is, and we are going to get more vexed in the next few months because of all these holidays. But we have to be able to count those things as joy, that we understand that that's not what you're supposed to be doing, right? And we use that to get in our Bibles more, pick up a different craft as a sense, okay, now I know all the 10 commandments, I'm going to try to know all the fruits of the Spirit. Try to do something to exercise that muscle and continue to get better, rather than just sitting here in the same place, because you are going to get complacent. And anybody know if you complacent, that's where the problems happen at. The sooner you think you got it, that's when you're in trouble. 1 Peter 5, pick it up at verse 6. Go ahead.
Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God.
That's a big statement. We don't want to humble ourselves for our husband. We don't want to humble ourselves for our boss. We don't want to humble ourselves by anybody. And now we got to humble ourselves to somebody that we don't even see. Yeah, humble yourself to the Almighty God that what?
That he may exalt you in due time.
So go ahead and be patient, calm down. It's okay to get a little chastisement. Take it. Humble yourself. You all right? And then in due time, he will exalt you. Keep going.
Casting all your care upon him, for he cared for you.
So anything that you should care about on the world, you should give it all to him. I'm not saying this, be lazy or be a sluggard, but hey, if you did everything you did, hey, look, I did everything I can do up to this point. Now I'm going to leave it to the Lord. And I'm going to focus on something else. A lot of times we focus too much on what's going on in the world and not what's going on with ourselves and our spiritual walk. So cast everything upon him when we continue to focus on ourselves. So the same thing Paul was talking about, that we was talking about a few weeks ago. Hey, if you got a relationship, your wife left you, your boyfriend left you, somebody left you, instead of trying to go get right and focus on what's going on in the world, focus on your spiritual walk. That's what you should be focusing on. That's what Peter is telling you, the same thing. Casting all your cares upon him, for he cares for you. Verse 8.
Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
And this is the individual that's declaring war on us. He's walking about, seeing who he may devour. If he could have the chance, man, he was fighting with Michael to try to get the body of Moses. Do you know how many people he would devour with that? Just think about that. He's like, that's what he out to get us. He don't care about everybody else. He don't care about them. Hey man, I feel, man, why such and such making this much money? And why, man, this person driving this nice of a car? He don't care about them, he worrying about you. That's why he got that. And if you want that, you got to give your soul up too. If that's what you want. Which one is more important? Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walking about seeking who he may devour. Keep going.
Whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world.
So we have to resist steadfast in the faith. We have to have that patience. We have to continue to resist, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in our brethren in the world. So what we're going through now is the same thing everybody else is going through. Don't think your stuff is different. And that's another problem that we have. And I'm one of the chief individuals for it. I think what I'm going through, nobody else is going through. No, we all have somebody around us that's going through something similar. Don't isolate yourself, because once you isolate yourself, it's going to be so easy to get you. You got to continue to be around your brethren. Whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. And he's not just talking about the individuals here. He's talking about Jesus. He's talking about Moses. He's talking about Stephen. He's talking about all of them. They all did it. And when they was going through it, they was happy. They was happy with it. And they had less than what we have now. We are in a rich country. It wasn't like that where they were. Keep going.
Verse 10. But the God of all grace, who hath called us unto his eternal glory by Christ Jesus, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect.
So after you have suffered a while, will make you perfect. But the God of all grace, who hath called us into his eternal glory by Christ Jesus, after that you have suffered a while. It's not going to be easy. He's going to make you suffer. It's all to prove you and get you better and get you stronger. But if you don't like suffering and you just give in, bruh, you're going to be suffering for eternity after that. For eternity. After that ye have suffered a while, then you be made perfect. Keep going. Established. Keep going. Strengthened. Why do you think that prayer happened to Peter? He said, hey, the devil wants to sift you as wheat. But after you get on your feet, strengthen your brother. And then what happened immediately after that? The cock crowed and he denied Jesus. So that's a little tribulation he had to go through. Really, we're no different. And how did he come out? He came out strong. He came out strong. Well, we have that same story to our name. Make you perfect, established, strengthened, settle you. Keep going.
To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Let's
go to Romans 12 now. So now we get the gist of the patience of the saints. Now we're going to go through history out of the Bible and look at other saints and see how they reacted to it. We're going to see some that reacted good. We're going to see some that reacted bad. And the Lord let you know, like King David, for example, even him making the mistakes that he did, he got it made. Moses got it made. Elijah got it made. Abraham. And then there's some that messed up. That, hey, we don't know. You don't want your name in doubt like that. Because after you die, that's it. There's no more reward. There's no more work you can do. You're just sitting there just waiting to be judged now. So while you're alive, you better just go through all the tribulation that you can. In a sense as it making you stronger and you not committing the same mistakes. You're getting better at it as you go. Go ahead. Read Romans 12, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let love be without dissimulation.
It said, let love be without dissimulation.
Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good.
We have to work on that now. What's evil is evil. Let's not belittle it. Don't say homosexuality with the man is wrong, but then you see homosexuality with the woman, you get, oh man, hey man, evil is evil. We got to work on this now. Let's be honest. Because if you're not working on this now, it's going to get you. Whatever it is. Keep going.
Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love.
Continue to strengthen your brother. Keep going.
In honor, preferring one another.
You gotta be first. So now a lot of people, oh man, I feel a certain type of way, man. They be talking to me. They be talking about me at church. So I don't want to go in there anymore. Now you isolating yourself. Now you into other books, or you into other people teaching other things. Now what? Gentiles. I mean, in the New Testament it was all Israel. The next thing you know, Gentiles can't be saved. The next thing you know, pork is okay, and you just falling off because you're not preferring one another. Because Satan got in the middle. Because we all know Satan is in the church. He's here. He was in the church back in Jesus' day. So all that nonsense that goes on in here in LA and Gary, all the other stuff, you should just throw it away. For what? Because this is your salvation. Because it doesn't matter what Tim did to me. Because if Tim make it and I don't, what does that matter? That's the most smallest thing. Oh man, he talked about my shoes. Verse 11, go ahead.
Not slothful in business.
Don't be lazy, bro. Go ahead and get your money if you can get it. But don't put it in front of the Lord. Not slothful in business. Keep going.
Fervent in spirit. Serving the Lord.
Serving the Lord.
Rejoicing in hope.
Rejoicing in hope. And what?
Patient in tribulation.
Patient in tribulation. Rejoicing in that. Keep going.
Continuing instant in prayer.
Continuing instant in prayer. This is all the attributes that we need. It's right here in front of us. But like I said, we go home when the lights off, we lose our mind. Man, buy some candles. You be alright? You be okay. Keep going.
Distributing to the necessity of saints.
Giving, helping out when you can. Keep going.
Given to hospitality.
Alright, so this is the crux right here. And this is something that a lot of us can't do. And I'm one of them. I'm still working on it. Keep going.
14. Bless them which persecute you.
Say what?
Bless them which persecute you.
Bless them who persecute. My man with the opening scripture, Psalms 35. We just read it. It says the individual was treating him wrong. He was treating him dirty. Was trying to get him caught up. Yet once he got sick, he prayed for him. Matter of fact, let's go read that. Psalms 35. I don't think you guys were paying attention when you read that. Go back to Psalms 35. Psalms 35 in verse 9. We can go ahead and read that, then we can go back to where we are at. All of this stuff is what works out that God muscle that Fontaine always talks about. Psalms 35 and 9. Go ahead.
And my soul shall be joyful in the Lord. It shall rejoice in his salvation.
Keep going.
All my bones shall say, Lord, who is like unto thee, which delivers the poor from him that is too strong from him.
Because the Lord will do it. He can protect you if he wants you to. He might just let you go through it for a specific reason. So just everything is all up to the Lord. The Lord control everything. Keep going.
Yea, the poor and the needy from him that spoileth him.
Keep going.
False witnesses did rise up.
Has any false witnesses rise up in anybody in this church here? I'm pretty sure somebody lied to somebody. It has to. People lie on me all the time. People lie on Travis all the time. So false witnesses rise up. What else happened?
They laid to my charge things that I knew not. They rewarded me evil for good, to the spoiling of my soul.
But they trying to get him, just like they did David. Not David, Daniel. Trying to get him. Keep going.
But as for me,
what did you do? Keep going.
When they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting. And my prayer returned into my own bosom.
Do you fast for people that don't like you? Do you pray for people that don't like you? That's a big deal. So if we don't do something as small as this, how can we help somebody out and bless those that cursed us, knowing that the Lord is going to get them back? Kind of like what, I love this, kind of like what the Lord told Job. Every time I get a little prideful, I think of this. The Lord told Job, okay, you think you somebody? Everybody that's prideful, lay them low. Right now. My bad, Lord. Just think about that. So you think you're somebody, go ahead and handle everybody that done bad to you right now. That deserve it. Because you might deserve it, but you feel a certain type of way. False witnesses did rise up that laid to my charge things I knew not, that rewarded me evil for good, the spoiling of my soul. Verse 13, but as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting and prayer, returning to my own bosom. 14.
I behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother.
He behaved himself as if that was your brother or your friend. After all that stuff they did to you, you still behaving yourself as if he's your brother or your friend. Think about that. Somebody called me, that's my brother. Hey, I'm there in a minute. Like my man here, hey, Rashad, we gotta go to California and preach the word to my people. Hey man, let's go. Will I do that to somebody that's not rolling with me like that? Well, I need to. We all need to. Keep going.
I bowed down heavily as one that mourned for his mother.
Keep going.
But in mine adversity they rejoiced and gathered themselves together.
So you see, it's not reciprocal though. But the writer of this psalm right here didn't even matter. Because he knew he did it all for the Lord. Because it's exercising his God muscle, exercising his patience. So when he going through great tribulation and everybody hungry and somebody stole food from you, hey man, they hungry too. Maybe they can't last long as I can. Maybe the Lord built me a little bit different. I'm going to go find something else to eat. Rather than we fighting each other. Because like I said, all of us won't make it to great tribulation. I mean, won't make it to the wilderness, man. We won't. Keep going.
Yea, the abjects gathered themselves together against me, and I knew it not. They did tear me and seized not.
All right, so now let's go back. Let's go back to Romans 9. Romans 12. And now we're going to read this again. And we're going to have something to fall back on. Romans 12, and pick it up at verse 13. 12. Go. Romans 12. Go ahead.
Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality.
Keep going.
Bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not.
Bless them that persecute you. Bless and curse not. Keep going.
Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep.
Keep going.
Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceit.
Don't be wise in your own conceit. Continue following the Lord. Verse 17.
Recompense to no man evil for evil.
Don't do that. Evil for evil, don't do that. Because now you're just allowing Satan to come into it. Recompense no man evil for evil. Keep going.
Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men.
If it's possible, live peaceably with all men. And that's a strong statement. This is not, it's not no, hey man, I tried. No man, continue trying. The Lord said, what, 70 times 7. This is not essential. It frustrates me how sometimes people use things as an excuse or don't use it very loosely. Just because you try a little bit, you know, that doesn't mean you really try. You might have patience, man. It might be a year or 2. It might even be 3 years. All the stuff that you done, the Lord forgave you, man, come on. Don't it make sense? Keep going.
Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord.
And that's what all of this segment of this lesson has to come down to. That the Lord is repaying everybody for their sins. He'll give their reward, he'll give their blessing. It's all coming from the Lord. Just like he told Job, you think you bought something, then get everybody right now. You can't. So just sit down and shut up and let me do my job. I know what I'm doing. I let him persecute you for a reason. Remember what you did in 2010? You thought I forgot about that? Oh, bro, I know the truth. It doesn't matter. The Lord don't care about that. Sin is sin. But if we glorify in that tribulation, Now we get some experience in the matter. So if we in that situation again, years to come, we know how to handle it. So you know what, man? I would cuss you out, but nah, bro. My bad. Hey, let's go get something to eat and let's talk about it like man to man. I apologize. You good? Come on, let's go. Now you handle it differently now. And if he's still mad, then now you leaping coals on his head. Keep going.
Verse 20. Therefore, if thy enemy hunger, feed him.
If that enemy hunger, feed him. But all those purple ninjas outside cussing people out, cussing the white man now, they ain't feeding nobody. Like, they're not reading this. How you mad at them? You should be mad at yourself. You got yourself in that situation, and you continue to put yourself in that situation. Keep going.
If he thirst, give him drink. For in doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head.
Yeah, if you're doing all that stuff and he's still mad at you, the Lord got that. The Lord can pay back way better than you can. Keep going.
Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good.
Overcome evil for good. Now let's go to Matthew 10. So now we're going to look at the master and how he handled things. And we're going to look at our brethren and see how they handle things. And while we're reading this, just look at yourself and see if you handle things the same situation. If reading this, just think about if we in great tribulation now, would you be able to hold? Will you be able to hold? I mean, you won't buy, you can't sell, you don't have a house to live in, you don't have nothing. Babies crying. Matthew 10 to 16. Go ahead.
Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves.
So that's how he's sending us. As sheep in the midst of wolves. Keep going.
Be ye therefore wise as serpents, and harmless as doves.
So know what you're doing. Know how to move around. Keep going.
But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues.
So this will happen. It happened to our brothers up in the New Testament, Acts and Romans and all of them. And if we still around and be lucky to see it, might happen to us if we're not in the wilderness. If we in the midst of great tribulation. But be beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. 18.
And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles.
Keep going.
But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak.
Do you believe in that? That, hey, you don't got to worry about it. If I'm working with you, if you working with me, I got you. Kind of like Stephen. When Stephen was talking to all those dudes, he was like getting at them, and then they stoned him, and he prayed for them, and that was the Lord the whole time. And we saw how Stephen worked. He worked on that God muscle them. He had the patience of the saint. He was patient with them. While they stoning them, he's praying for them. Not throwing a lick, not trying to throw a rock back, he's just taking it. Keep going.
For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death.
And this is a big deal, because I know some brothers and sisters who it's hard for them to keep the Sabbath or do things that's for the Bible, for the Lord, because of their family. But they don't understand that if it comes down to it, your family will give you up. Oh yeah, he always talk about the Sabbath. Yeah, him right here. Keep going.
22. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
Some men.
All men. For my name's sake. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved.
He that endureth to the end, the same. You gotta have that patience. You gotta continue to endure. You gotta continue to believe in Jesus Christ. Keep the commandments. Keep going.
But when they persecute you in this city, flee ye into another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come.
Keep going.
The disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord.
So we're not better than Jesus Christ himself. So what he go through, we have to go through too. Keep going.
It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of that house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household?
Yeah, that's it. I know it said 26, but that's it, right? Go down.
That's it.
Isaiah 53. So let's look at how the Lord handled it. Isaiah 53 and verse 6. If our master was sinless and was able to go through all this, we who have something coming to us should be able to go through something. Or you're just hypocrites. Isaiah 53 and pick it up at verse 6. Go ahead. Matter of fact, pick it up verse 3. I don't know why I said that. Isaiah 53 verse 3. Go ahead.
He is despised and rejected of men of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him.
So while he was going through it, he was being rejected of men. We hid our faces from him. We hid from him. Peter denied Jesus once he was going through it because he didn't want to get God. And Jesus and Peter was a soldier. I mean, he walked around with swords on him, cutting off people's ears, like. But yet, it shows you how your true colors can come out. But the Lord is merciful, wanting you to get better from whatever you are at. Just continue to get better. Keep going.
He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted.
Keep going.
But he was wounded for our transgressions.
He was wounded for our transgressions. Keep going.
He was bruised for our iniquities.
He was beat up for us. It's kind of hard for anybody to take a bullet for you, to fight for you, anything. This dude did it all. He didn't even know you. He was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. Keep going.
The chastisement of our peace was upon him. And with his stripes we are healed.
So the chastisement of our peace, he held that for us. And he healed. And with his stripes we are healed. Because of his stripes we have access to the Father. We can have eternal life as a God. Verse 6.
All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way.
But nevertheless, other than stand put and sitting down and be humble and all that other stuff, we went our own way. We start worshiping other gods, doing what we want to do. Keep going.
And the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all.
Keep going. He
was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth.
Yet he cussed him out.
Yet he opened not his mouth.
This is a God. He just let this happen to him. He did not open his mouth while he was getting beat up with thorns, crowns of thorns on his head. He just took it. That's insane. And that's where we have to get to. Keep going.
He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb. So he opened not his mouth.
He didn't even open his mouth, and he was innocent. And he just let it be happen. People can lie on me right now. You won't hear what I have to say. Hey, no, bro. Look, that did not happen. You won't hear me. As I'm getting stoned or something, I'm saying something to you. But this man was innocent. He was innocent, and he didn't open up his mouth at all. That's a cold piece. Keep going.
He was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken.
For the transgression of us, for our people was he stricken. Keep going.
And he made his grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth.
Read verse 10. Just keep going, just because.
Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him.
So talk about glory and tribulation. It pleased the Lord to bruise him. They both found pleasure in this. Keep going.
He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days. And the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand.
So he shall see his seed and he shall prolong his days. Now let's go to, now we move around. Let's go to Matthew 26 now. Now let's go back to Matthew. And we're going to see some of this live and living cover the best that we can. Because that was a prophecy letting you know how Jesus will conduct himself. But this is it going on. Like I said, live and living cover. Matthew 26 and 47. 26 and 47, go ahead.
And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves.
So now his homeboy turned on him, and they all came up strapped. They all had swords and staves and had everything they needed to do for all-out war. Keep going.
From the chief priests and elders of the people.
All of them. From the chief priests and elders. Boy, 60 years old coming strapped. Keep going. 48.
Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, Whomsoever I shall kiss, the same is he. Hold him fast.
So Judas said, whoever I kiss, that's who Jesus is. Keep going.
And forthwith he came to Jesus and said, Hail, Master, and kissed him. And Jesus said unto him, Friend, wherefore art thou come?
That's cold. He know he turning on him. He called him a friend. Friend, what you doing? Like, that's some cold stuff right there, man. Keep going.
Then came they and laid hands on Jesus and took him. And behold, one of them which were with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew a sword.
That was Peter. He was with it. Drew his sword and what?
And struck a servant of the high priest and smote off his ear.
So he was with it. Like he knew, I'm going to give you a warning shot. I'm going to cut off your ear without cutting off your head. Just letting you know I can do it. I can touch you if I want to. Right? But what did Jesus say? Keep going.
Then said Jesus unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place.
He didn't say, hey man, get the other one too. He said, man, put your sword up. What are you doing, man? Put your sword up. Keep going.
For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword.
We read that already in Revelation. And 53 is the crux. Keep going.
Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels?
Right, ain't nothing you can do. I can just pray to the Father and all this stuff is done. But he didn't open up his mouth. He let it happen for us. So we can have some type of record or some type of example of how we should move in tribulation like that. Like I said, we're nowhere near ready. We're nowhere near ready. Like we can't even take off for the Sabbath. And I get it. We all have to work our way up there. We all have our little struggles, and the Lord give us time for that. But we have to improve. If we are in the same place we are today as we were when we came into the Word, that's the problem. We've been in the Word for 3, 4, 5 years, and you're still trying to get the 10 Commandments down. Come on, man. All right, let's move around. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 4. Second Corinthians 4, we're going to pick it up at verse 8. So we saw how Jesus got down. Now let's look at some of our other brothers, how they get down. 2 Corinthians 4 and 8. Go ahead.
We are troubled on every side.
I started off like this. We are troubled on every side, so we going through it too. Keep going.
Yet not distressed.
We not even stressing on it. We going through it. We not even stressing. Boy, you miss one meal, you don't know what you're doing. You angry at the world. And they got problems everywhere they look, and they're not even worried about it. You got to think of Paul. Half the Jews wanted to kill Paul. The other half was scared of Paul. And then he talking to some Gentiles, which he didn't want to be. He wanted to be back there in Israel. And he talking to them, and they think they better than us. So he angry and mad and just want to fight everybody. And people still stoning him, trying to get him. Just think of what these are real people we're reading. These are not just characters. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Verse 9.
Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed.
Keep going.
Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord Jesus.
We keeping that in our mind, the dying of the Lord Jesus. Keep going.
That the life also of Jesus might be made manifest in our body.
So we keeping that in mind so we can live for him. They out there working for him, trying to get us to understand and repent and turn from our ways. Verse 11.
For we which live are always delivered unto death for Jesus' sake.
They always deliver up to death. They had to worry about death every day. They literally was worrying about that stuff. We have never, that's not where we are at. Not yet. Not yet. For we which live are always delivered unto death for Jesus' sake. Keep going.
That the life also of Jesus might be made manifest in our mortal flesh. So then death worketh in us, but life in you.
Keep going.
We having the same spirit of faith, according as it is written, I believe, and therefore have I spoken. We also believe, and therefore speak. Knowing that he which raised up the Lord Jesus shall rise up us also by Jesus, and shall present us with you.
So they're not even fearful of death because they believe and they have faith that the individual that rose up our God, Jesus, which is the Father, will also raise up them. So that's why they move, and that's why I said you can't have faith without works. They have faith and they're moving like that because every day they're facing death, but they ain't even tripping on it. Let the cops come up in here. Everybody telling everybody. Everybody's 6'9". Everybody's snitching. Keep going.
For all things are for your sakes.
All things for our sakes. Keep going.
That the abundant grace might through the thanksgiving of many redound to the glory of God. For which cause we faint not, but through our outward man perish. Yet the inward man is renewed day by day.
Day by day, the inward man is renewed. Keep going.
For our light affliction, which is but for a moment.
For our what?
Our light affliction.
So they going through it. They seeing death every day, and they call that a light affliction. A light affliction. That's a light affliction to them. And that's how we should handle it. That's light. That ain't nothing.
That's late.
For our light affliction, which is but a moment, keep going.
Worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory.
Because what is at stake is way more glory than what I'm going through right now. Is that how we think? In the midst of it, is that how we think? Somebody owe you some money. You knocking at that man door, you flipping, you trying to fight. Man, maybe he don't got it. Let him have it. It is what it is. Keep going. Finish that up, 18.
While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
Now let's go to Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11, 32. Hebrews 11 and 32. We can continue looking at our brothers. Go ahead.
And what shall I more say? For the time will fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, of David also, and Samuel, and of the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms.
So through faith, they subdued kingdoms, and what else?
Wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions.
Man, that sounds good. They did all that through faith? Man, I'm trying to be on that side. Keep going.
Quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword. Out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight.
Waxed valiant in fight, keep going.
Turned to flight the armies of the aliens.
So they fighting all the armies of the aliens, keep going.
Women received their dead raised to life. Women received their dead raised to life again. And others were tortured, not accepting deliverance.
But hold on. We all want the other side of it, but do we want this side of it? Women received their dead, raised to life again, and others were tortured. They were tortured, not accepting deliverance. They're not even worried about it. That's some craziness. Man, keep going.
That they might obtain a better resurrection.
Because kind of like David and I think dude named Joab. Joab was cussing David out. And he was just like, and then old boy was like, hey man, let me cut off dude's head. David was like, man, are you tripping, man? Maybe the Lord will see this and have mercy upon me. That's how they look at it. They was going through it. It's like, man, hey, maybe I did something back in the day. Maybe the Lord see me putting all of it on the line. Maybe He'll have mercy upon me. These are our brothers. They going through the same affliction as we going through. That's what we read in the scriptures earlier. They've been through the same things we going through, or we have gone through. Can we do what they did? Keep going.
36. And others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings. Yea, moreover of bonds and imprisonment.
Moreover of bonds, like I say all the time, I think, Joseph was the first person thrown in jail for nothing, for not doing nothing. He was innocent. Thrown in jail, it was all good. Woman lied on him. He ain't tripping. He ain't over there crying, screaming, fighting. His brother sold him. He ain't crying, screaming, fighting. For a little bit he was, but after a while, the Lord took care of that. But what I'm trying to say is that if we was in that same situation, bro, I guarantee you, a lot of us we don't have it in us. We don't have it in us. Keep going.
37. They were stoned. They were sawn asunder.
They were stoned. They were sawed asunder. Bro was cut in half. Bro was cut in half. So you keep the Sabbath, and he keep the Sabbath too. I'm going to cut this person in half. I'm going to ask you again if you keep the Sabbath. I bet your answer might, man, what you mean? Hold on, wait a minute. Keep going.
Were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy.
And the world was not worthy of them. Keep going.
They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and caves of the earth.
So never mind not having no lights. They wandering in caves. They getting how they can live. Now they're hustling for real. Keep going.
And these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise.
And they all had a good report through faith, yet received not the promise, because they all waiting on us. We all get the promise all at the same time. But yet they did it, and they received a good report. Keep going.
God having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect.
So now let's go to Hebrews 12. Keep going.
Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us.
So he said, since we are around all these individuals that have done great things, sawed asunder, they stopped the mouths of lions, all this other stuff. Said, for we have compassed about with so great of a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does easily beset us. Let's throw that stuff away. The stuff that we easily tripped up on, let's get over that. We have all these people around us that are doing these great things, and we still get tripped up on something we have no business looking at. Something that's elementary. Keep going.
And let us run to patience the race that is set before us.
And let us run this race with patience. Understanding we have to grow, but we better grow. Looking to who?
Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith.
The author and finisher of our faith. Keep going.
Who, for the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself.
So consider him. He endured such contradictions of sinners because he never sinned. So we should focus on kind of like what we read with the apostles, with the disciples. They continue to put Jesus in their mind, and that helped them move forward. And that's what they are telling for us we should do too. We should continue. We should consider Jesus Christ and how he did all that stuff and went through all that stuff, yet he was innocent. Read verse 3 here.
For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your mind.
So consider him, unless you be weary and faint in your mind. Consider all the brothers and sisters that went through all that stuff, lest you be weary and faint in your mind. Verse 4.
Ye have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin.
It said, ye have not resisted this blood? No, it said you have not yet. It's coming. But if you're not working this patience, if you're not working that God muscle, if you're not working on humbling yourself and forgiving your neighbor and getting better every day and keeping the commandments and standing for the Lord God, if you're not working on that, you won't last. It just will not happen. There's no way. You can't be wishy-washy, right? You got to pick what side of the fence you want to stand on. Let's move on. Daniel 6. And we almost done. Daniel 6. We're going to see how Daniel handled things. Y'all know, changed my name a few years back, and I was going to change my first name too, right? But I ended up not doing it. And I can only imagine how Daniel feel, because Daniel, his name was Daniel, and they named him after their God, and they would call him their God. Like they call him Belteshazzar. I get mad when people call me by my old name. I lose my mind. Like, really, bro? I just told you my name, so I can only imagine what they going through. That's how I know I'm not there yet. I'll lose my mind on that, let alone getting thrown in the lion's den. I'm fighting, I'm kicking, I'm bringing you to, man, both of y'all coming with me. We all going in. I'm still tripped up on the name. Daniel 6:1, go ahead.
It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage.
Keep going.
Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm.
So Daniel was running things. Verse 4.
Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom.
And they ain't like that. The same thing might be going along with us now. You guys doing the best that you can. You got somebody on the outside hating, trying to find something, some type of occasion to come at you. Keep going.
But they could find none occasion nor fault.
But they couldn't find nothing because Daniel was faithful. He got his job done. He wasn't slothful. Some of us, we slothful. Keep going.
For as much as he was faithful, neither were there any error or fault found in him. Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God.
And that's going to be the same thing with us. Hey, bro, I can't find no occasion with Rashad, but I know he won't go to this Christmas party. Make it mandatory. I guarantee you he'll be out here. Verse 6.
Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, and the governors, and the princes, the counselors, and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute, and to make a firm decree, that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save, O thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions.
So they over here set him up, trying to make it, because he know he won't serve no other God but our God. So they set him up. Skip down to verse 10. Let's see what happened. Go ahead.
Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open.
So he knew it was signed. He went into his house with his windows open. Keep going.
In his chamber toward Jerusalem. He kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed.
That's what he knew it was signed. He knew they was trying to get him, and he went there anyways. Do we have that? Can we do that? Honestly, can we do that? Maybe that's a question for yourself. They knew they were trying to get. I knew the decree is signed, but yet I'm gonna go in this room and pray to my God, and all y'all can see me too. Show you how much I care. Keep going.
And gave thanks before his God, as he did aforetime. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save, O thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not.
So he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to set up Daniel, but yet he had to abide by the laws. So that's what he did. Skip down to verse 16.
Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And the stone was brought and laid.
So that's something else we have to consider as well. Us staying strong in our faith, we don't know who else is watching us. That's a big deal. Because we got this dude, Darius from the Medes and the Persians, which, you know, God controls the heart of all the kings. But nevertheless, he letting them know, hey man, your God will deliver you. Keep going. 17.
And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him.
Yeah,
and
that's what you call when the Lord said, if the ways of a man please the Lord, even his enemies be at peace with them. This man is in captivity with these guys, and he's fasting for them. Talk about your God will look after you. I'm gonna start fasting. That's craziness. Ask your boss to fast for you. See how that works. Keep going.
And his sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, a servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever.
I want to be there. I just want to see that snapshot. David, you still there? Yeah. Like, I just want to see his face, man. I bet she was like, oh my goodness. Keep going.
22. My God hath sent his angel, and hath shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt.
So, this is something else we have to consider. Like I said, God controls everything. You can have somebody throw you in the lion's den, and the Lord will make it where the lions won't even touch you. So we shouldn't be fearful of what tribulation that we have in store for us, because if the Lord don't want us in it, He will get us out of it. But if we're scared to go into it, then who are we to Him? He gave His life for us, but we don't want to at all hurt anything about anything for Him. We're going to go ahead and move around from this too. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to Genesis 19. We're going to see another example. Genesis 19. Now, I know some of us might tell some homosexuals what they're doing is wrong. But if you got 1 million of them at their door, at your door knocking on it, would you still tell them that they're wrong? Or you be like, hey man, just leave me alone. You do you, I do me. We'll see what this man did. Genesis 19:1, go ahead.
And there came 2 angels to Sodom at evening, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and you shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night.
So he's found 2 angels. They was acting like they were just regular men. He was trying to bring them into the house and have them chill because of the city he lived in. Verse 3.
And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat.
Verse 4.
But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter.
Everybody surrounding his house. Everybody surrounding his house. Verse 5.
And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, we're quick to tell somebody they wrong on Facebook, but if they all outside of your house, all 400-500 of them, like, hey man, let me get that. How would you react then? Honestly, how would you react? Keep going.
And Lot went out at the door unto them.
This man went out. Stand in front of him, right in front of him. And what he said, keep going.
And shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly.
Bro, don't do this evil thing. This is evil. Right in front of their faces. Ain't no Twitter. Them boys, right? Hey, don't do this, bro. Keep going.
Behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known men. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes.
Talk about hating the evil and loving the good. He was like, man, you can have my daughters. At least you're doing something right. That's some craziness. I don't know if I can do that either. Keep going.
Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said,
What they said?
Stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn. He will needs be a judge.
It sounds like what's going on nowadays. Well, you trying to judge us? You can't judge me. Who are you to judge me? Only God can judge me. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn. He a visitor. And he want to try to judge us? Keep going.
Now will we deal worse with thee than with them.
And he was like, we about to get you down. Since you want to act like that, we going to get you. Keep going.
And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door.
They're about to kick that man. They about to open that door. Can you imagine that? They about to get that man. It's like 700 of them. What you gonna do? He stood up. He let them know what was wrong. Keep going.
Verse 10. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door.
So much if your hand offend you, cut it off. Hey, it's just stating that, because here they are blind and they still trying to get in that house. Yeah. They don't know where's what. They still trying to find some butt. It's crazy. Skip down to verse 24.
Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven.
So we see how he don't like that. He rains fire and brimstone from the Lord out of heaven. Rained it down on them. Killed them all. But we saw Lot standing in front, let him know what was wrong. And the Lord saved him and his people. One of them, that's that. We all know the story. But he saved Lot. We have to have that same faith. Move around. Let's go to Matthew 14. This and one more example, then we're going to start looking at ourselves. And then we'll be done. Matthew 14 and verse 1. Matthew 14 and 1. Go ahead.
At that time, Herod the Tetrarch heard of the fame of Jesus, and said unto his servants, This is John the Baptist. He is risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him.
So John the Baptist dead, and it's about to tell you why John the Baptist died. Right here, go ahead.
For Herod had laid hold on John, and bound him, and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. For John said unto him, It is not lawful for thee to have her.
So this man is the king. He can do whatever he wants. He gonna have this homeless dude stinking come up in here and tell me what I can and cannot do with who I want to do? Think about that. Why don't y'all go up to the White House and say, hey, Trump, look, bro, you can't do this. Man, we'll see what happened to you. That's what he did. Hey, Obama, man, I know you're trying to pass that law. Everybody can go to people's bathrooms. We're not having that. That's not happening. And because of that, John Baptist died. Got his head cut off. So we seeing the patience of the saints. We seeing people standing up letting people know what is right, what's wrong, holding on to the commandments, hold on to the faith of Jesus, even through tribulation. That's what we're seeing here. Go ahead, verse 4.
For John said unto him, It is not lawful for thee to have her. And when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude, because they counted him as a prophet.
Keep going.
But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod. Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask.
Keep going.
And she, being before instructed of her mother, said, Give me here John Baptist's head in a charger.
So ain't no telling what he did to the mom, but apparently he told the mom, you gotta wear your head covering to pray or something. I don't know. He told her something and she didn't like it. So now she want his head. Keep going.
And the king was sorry. Nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her. And he sent and beheaded John in the prison. And his head was brought in a charger and given to the damsel, and she brought it to her mother.
So we see how he's standing up for the word of God, got him in a situation that eventually got his head cut off. I bet he didn't think twice about that either. He would do it again if he had the chance. These are our examples. That's something that we might have to do in certain situations. We might have to step up and get that head cut off. We might have to. Let's go to Numbers 20. So, I like to read this all the time because I remember I was talking to Brian and he reminded me of this. You know, I got me a little temper. It's nothing bad. It's just, maybe I'm young, I don't know. But he reminded me of this story, and he reminded me of what happened to Moses, because Moses was doing things that he was supposed to do. He was doing cool, but because of somebody else, he lost his cool. Because Israel was tripping, he had enough, said something he shouldn't have said, and he got in trouble for it. He got in trouble for it. So we see people doing things that's good. Now we're seeing somebody who did something that's bad. And he still made it, but nevertheless, he never got the chance to go into the promised land. That's big. And like we can read in 1 Corinthians 10, this is our examples, or no, Hebrews, this is our examples, lest we fall short and not make it to the promised land. Numbers 21, go ahead.
Then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the first month. And the people abode in Kadesh. And Miriam died there and was buried there.
Keep going.
And there was no water for the congregation. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron.
So these cats complaining again. Like every moment, every time they walk somewhere, they are complaining. They had enough. They snapping. Keep going.
And the people chode with Moses and spake, saying, Would God that we had died when our brethren died before the Lord?
And we know Moses has some zeal, so now they even coming at his God. So you can only imagine how you really feel. Keep going.
And why have ye brought up the congregation of the Lord into this wilderness, that we and our cattle should die there? And wherefore have ye made us to come up out of Egypt, to bring us in unto this evil place? It is no place of seed, or of figs, or of vines, or of pomegranates, neither is there any water to drink.
And you was in captivity. They about to kill all your males. And you complain about where you are right now. Don't make no sense. Keep going.
And Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they fell upon their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes. And
so all you gotta do is speak to the rock in front of their eyes, and what?
And it shall give forth his water.
That's all they had to do.
And
water come out, and water would have came out. Keep going.
And thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock, so that shall give the congregation and their breasts drink, and their beasts drink. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord, as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels.
Hear now, ye rebels. So now they all, look here, man. I'm going to say a little bit before I do this. Y'all gonna hear what I gotta say. Keep going.
Must we fetch you water out of this rock?
Uh-huh.
And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock
He
twice.
had to do that. He didn't have to come at that at all. He meant the whole situation he did wrong. Keep going.
And the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believe me not.
Because you believe me not. Doing something like that is something that small is not believing in the Lord. That's how I know I still got some work to do. Because like I said, you try to throw me in lies, and some of y'all coming in there with me. I'm fighting, I'm screaming, and the Lord might be like, since you won't believe me not, I'm gonna let that line get you. I know I got some work to do. I can say that openly. Do y'all? It is what it is. Keep that to yourself. But nevertheless, we can see that Moses sitting here, he ain't doing nothing wrong in a sense. He's trying to do what the Lord say. Other people's getting on his nerves. Somebody else is out there getting on his nerves, and he losing it. Man, I gotta do this so many times, man. Forget y'all. And the Lord was like, bro, you done. You're done. Keep going.
To sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel. Therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord, and he was sanctified in them.
Now let's go to 2 Peter 2. We're going to finish it up. 2 Peter 2 and verse 1. So you got to have that patience. You got to stand fast in the word of the Lord. Don't waver to the left, don't waver to the right. 2 Peter 2 and 1. 2 Peter 2 and 1. So now this is for us. Go ahead.
But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you,
So there will be false teachers among us. Keep going.
who privately shall bring in damnable heresies.
And it happened every Sabbath. Somebody somewhere got to bring in something else that has nothing to do with the Bible. Keep going.
Even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
Keep going.
And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you.
So now they're going to take some people out the truth, and now they all going to come at you. Saying you said this, saying you did this, blaspheming your name, throwing your name underneath the dirt. Keep going.
Whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not.
But the Lord is going to get them. And this is how we know that the Lord is going to get them. Go ahead, verse 4.
For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after shall live ungodly.
Keep going.
And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked.
Vexed. We think we vexed. He was vexed. Keep going.
For that righteous man dwelling among them.
So if you righteous dwelling among wherever you doing, keep going.
And seeing and hearing, vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment.
So if you're doing what you need to do, the Lord knows how to get you out of the situation that you're in. You shouldn't be afraid of the situation. The Lord told all his prophets and all his watchmen, don't be afraid of what Israel going to say. Don't be afraid of their faces. You go handle what I'm telling you to handle. Now, if they would have wearied away from that, they would have got the same damnation as what we read with everybody else with Moses. The Lord would have handled them. Go to 2 Timothy 2. 2 Timothy 2. And pick it up at verse 1. 2 Timothy 2 and verse 1. Go ahead.
Thou, therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Christ Jesus.
So because of that, because the Lord can bring you out of situations, because the Lord control everything, be strong in the grace that is in Jesus Christ. Keep going.
And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ.
Endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. We don't. This is low key militant. Endure hardness. Get strong. You good. Fight for this. As a good soldier of Jesus Christ. Keep going.
No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life.
So no man that's in the war entangling himself with the affairs that's going on in this life. Don't be worried about what's going on here. You just focus on the battle at hand. Keep going.
That he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully.
So if a man strive for masteries, he's not crowned unless he strive lawfully. So you're not going to get the crown of eternal life unless you do this lawfully, unless you do it right. Keep going.
The husbandman that laboreth must be first partaker of the fruits. Consider what I say, and the Lord give thee understanding in all things. Remember that Jesus Christ of the seed of David was raised from the dead according to my gospel, wherein I suffer trouble as an evildoer, even unto bonds, but the word of God is not bound. Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sakes, that they may also obtain the salvation which is in Christ Jesus with eternal glory.
Keep going, verse 11.
It is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him.
So even if you die, if you be dead with him, you shall also live with him. If you're killing yourself on a daily basis, you are living with him. Verse 12.
If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he also will deny us.
So if we in a situation and we turn around and deny him, he will deny us in front of his Father. That's how that goes. Verse 13.
If we believe not, yet he abideth faithful. He cannot deny himself. Of these things put them in remembrance.
So all this stuff, remember this. Keep going.
Charging them before the Lord that they strive not about words to no profit, but to the subverting of the hearers. Study to show thyself approved unto God.
Study to show yourself approved unto God. Actually put in this work. Keep going.
A workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Okay, now let's go to Luke 21. So this is how we got to stay the course. Talking to us nowadays, this is how we have to stay the course. Don't be afraid of it. It's all right. Nobody else is afraid of it. They all die righteously. We might have to do that too. We got to continue this patience. Luke 21 and verse 8. So we jumping into, read verse 7. Go down, go ahead.
And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass?
He talking about the 70 AD, talking about when Jerusalem will be sacked and the kingdom and the temple won't be there anymore. So that's what we're talking about right now. But listen to what Jesus is saying to them. Listen to how he motivates them. Keep going.
And he said, Take heed that ye be not deceived.
First off, don't be deceived. Keep going.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them.
So this time is drawing near. Don't you follow them. Keep going.
But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom.
So it's going to be straight turmoil when all this stuff is happening. Keep going.
And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights with great signs shall there be from heaven.
All right, verse 12. Here you go. Go ahead.
But before all these
things, what?
They shall lay their hands on you.
So before all that stuff happens, they're going to get you. Keep going.
And persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake.
We read this before. We read it again. Keep going.
And it shall turn to you for a testimony.
And it shall turn to you for a testimony. This is your testimony. This is how you stand. This is how I'm proving you to see what you're going to do in this situation. Verse 14.
Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist.
Just like Stephen. Keep going.
And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolks and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death. And you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
18.
And there shall not an hair of your head perish.
So if they're going to kill me, how not hair on my head going to perish? Because he's going to preserve you for the kingdom. Verse 19 is the crux. Go ahead.
In your patience possess ye your souls.
In your patience, you possess your souls. It's all on you. All this stuff is going to happen to you, but nevertheless, I got you. You won't be hurt. I'm going to wake you up again. But all of this stuff surrounds your patience. It's all about how you walk. Matthew 24:13, last verse. In your patience possess your souls. Matthew 24:13. Go ahead.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
I hope you got some understanding in Jesus' name.